My name is Jazrel Emil Kavar, and I know I'm very passionate about the things I feel about life. I know in my previous messages you can hear the tone of my voice, and it's hard for me to speak about things that I see and hear and not want to speak up. My voice carries weight. And it isn't because of puberty. It isn't because I like being loud. It's because God has given me peace and wisdom to see what is going on in my life and in the lives of others. Born with the ability of discernment. An ability that is hard to describe. The closest I can get to it is seeing 3D everything. Going back and looking at your choices and the options and what you do. Analyzing your next move before it even happens. Deciding in a split second. Because you had already lived the worst of what can happen in your mind. And people say that's depressing. And I say that's liberation. Because it gives me the ability to act when I'm necessarily called up to act. To be prepared. I remember when my cousin had a young baby. She had a lot of things wrong with her. And he asked me to be her godfather. And she was holding on, but she was born blind. She couldn't see it. And she had so many things wrong with her. From missing organs to having breathing problems to a whole range of things. They said she wouldn't even make it to B2. And for me, I take my friendships very seriously. I take that I love very serious. I don't care if you're homeless or the richest man on the face of the earth. You still have to pass the litmus test that I set before everyone else. I don't promise you diamonds and gold and a world made of all things sweet and sugary to the taste buds. But what I offer you is truth. What I offer you is faith. I offer you something no other man can offer you. A place side by side. A place of power. To understand that I cannot leave those who have been in my life, all my life, out there for themselves. Because that's not my nature. That's not who I am. Ever since I was young, I believed it was my duty to look out for others. and well aware of the power of the devil. For he was the wrath of me. It happened in elementary school. It happened in middle school. High school, I began to change. I formed something different. I had an initiative that I must fund. I had a purpose. And that was written on my arms, NSJT, no secrets, this truth. I was granted peace and wisdom to see. Talking to me, we have so many things in common, and it's not just because I want to match you, it's because I have been in this world for 31 years, 365 days, 366 days in a leap year. I've been here. I know that you won't know my whole story, because even as I begin to tell it to you, we begin to grow old. But I can tell you the short version, that I've never given up on a soul, that I've always been the best friend I could possibly be. I've always taken my role as a life coach seriously. I never played with the word of God to manipulate my own game. Although it would be wonderful for me to do and easy for me to do, but I refuse to. I looked at my life and I said that I had to give up something to enjoy life. So I gave up sex for 7 years. The agreement was a year. The bet was a year. But I began to learn so many things about women and being around them, being a flirt, that it made me realize that I wanted to weep inside. Because they have a struggle ahead of them. Just like in Egypt, the pretty slave girls was pulled from the pit, pulled from slavery to go to the people of wealth who wanted a beautiful virgin girl. The world hasn't changed much since the times of Moses, since the times of Jesus, since the times of the Roman Empire. You will often hear me call Jesus the Lamb because he has a new name written on his breastplate and the thigh plate in Revelation. You will look at me and believe that I do not subscribe to any religion. And you would be right. Because I honor the Father only. I don't need another title put over my head. But I know the word. I know the word of the Quran. I know the words of the art of war. I study philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle. I love astronomy. I love metaphysics. I love theology more than I love anything else, because it gives me the ability to be able to speak to so many. It allows me to talk about the beauty of just being a free spirit. I once was a rebel and lay waste to things that I thought was unclean. I was kicked out of a church because I called the pastor a false teacher. She had came into my life and made things worse. I was abused from the time I was 4 years old until the time I was old enough to care for myself, which is sometime later in my 20s. See, I would stay with people and I understand the cost of staying with someone. They want you to kick in on bills and they'll spend your money and then want money for the bills again, and you can't say no because you will end up having a roof over your head, so you end up working 2 jobs to supply the need of one who wants to spend and one who wants to pay the bills. I remember stealing electricity because the electric bill was over $500 and God only knows who was going to pay that. And that was back before they started the digital meters and we would go and sneak and turn our power back on. We would steal cable so that we would be able to see what we wanted to see on TV. I remember a lot of hard choices had to be made so that me and the 5 others that was with me were able to eat. We loved taco night and spaghetti night. I used to love waking up on Christmas morning, drinking margaritas while cooking. And then we go take a nap while the turkey's cooking because we are all kind of tipsy. And yes, I began to see the error in my ways. And yes, I had begun to change. I had stopped drinking so much. I stopped going out with friends who would encourage me to be something other than what I was. They would go to clubs and I would go and be the one standing off to the side looking at the beautiful women but not understanding why they were there. I was looking for intellectual stimulation. Mind sex is what I call it, where my poetry and the symmetry of my flirting has gotten you so in the mood and in the groove to speak to me with the language only you and I could know. Waiting on the prevailing winds to blow, so that I can see your hair blow in the wind, so I can feel the softness of your hands, knowing that nothing has scarred you. Dreaming only to encourage you to rise higher, to be the queen and I be the king of something that is greater than any man could ever describe. They call me a myth, but I'm more than a man. I stand and believe that I can change all things before me, even a broken heart. But I wanted her to be strong so that she could tame me in certain situations that will boggle my mind and allow me to come out of the flesh and see and reveal who I truly am. I'm a rebel with a cause of righteousness, a cause of justice, a cause of love, a cause of peace. I am the first one on the scene. When the battle must begin, I am ready, a warrior of the cause, ready to tear down every wall, every element that stands in my way. I'm a believer in prayer. Never left the side of God because I know He speaks to me. He revels in our conversations. He loves to hear about my day. He loves to see me play. He has made me a great debater, and I have never lost my way since. He has shown me how to be strong and prepare for the worst and be ready for the best. When I almost lost my sister, I prepared myself for the worst. But I knew it would be a blow to my mind and to my heart and to my soul that I would never exist anymore. For I had found that her life was taken. I would no longer speak. I would become truly the voiceless. And yet she survived. And my niece was cradled into my arms. So when I thought of my goddaughter, and all those who wanted the paternity test and war through the family, I believe that she was born with a purpose to reunite me with who I am, to make all things beautiful in my life, not to suffer, not to settle, but to go for the highest dream possible. Do great and amazing things with my life, with the breath of life I had. See, she died at 9 months old in her mother's arms. I remember getting the phone call and was trying so desperately to find a way to get there. I was ready to walk. And a good friend of mine took me to the hospital. And he asked me, did I want to hold her one last time? And I wept, just as I'm about to weep now, because she meant so much to me. It said she gonna make it to be 2, but 9 months wasn't long enough for me. Wasn't enough for me. I wanted more. She was just like my daughter to me. Because I fed her. I held her hand as I had to give her injections. And all the medicine she had to take. And she would just smile and giggle. And we would say she was watching the angels play. Because she would laugh and smile so much. Now I have 2 beautiful godsons. One that's 4. And another one that was just born a couple of months ago. Who bears a name that speaks of the progress that I have made, that I have reached heights that no one else has reached. They named him after me. His name's Jazrel. 2 strong names. And I am proud of the name that I have built for myself. Spending time and effort, I look back and see that I had changed lives forever, made alliance with those who wouldn't break them if I wanted them to. We still love each other deeply as the first time we met each other. We had our own friends, but the three of us was given peace and wisdom to see a way out of no way, build what nobody else could build. One of my friends are into music, the other one is a chef, and I was a chef as well. But we all worked in food service. Being the cream of the crop, we all was top at our jobs. We got up every single day and put in the hard work to feed those who are waiting on food, because we believe that they were there because they had a rough day and they taste our food and it made them better, because they were celebrating their birthday or just getting married, or they're on their engagement dinner where someone's about to propose, or they just finally had a moment of peace and wanted something good to eat. We were chefs that cared about the artistry of what we put out. We didn't let anything go out that wasn't beautiful and the best. Always complimented on our work ethic, complimented on our style. When I was chosen to be kitchen manager so many years ago, I was proud. I was proud because it was the first time in my life I had a responsible job. I was a manager before, but this time I was molding minds and teaching cooks how to go step by step and reach a height they've never seen before. I taught them the dance that I do upon the line, and to watch each one of them perform that dance made me proud. In my life, all I can say is give me peace and wisdom to see. Let me see what is on the horizon for me. Let me know what I can offer to change the world. Let me know what I can offer to inspire one, hoping to inspire many. My dream is the same dream of millions and millions of people. We live on the earth with 7 billion people. But my words still reign true, that in my deeds I will do what my very words tattooed on my chest is. No secrets, just truth. I will always be honest with you. I will always be there for you. No matter what happens to you, I will never stop thinking and praying for you. You have touched my heart deeply. Each and every last person who I have loved from the day I met them. I still hold hope for you. I still stand in the gap for you, willing to do anything that I can physically do to make your dreams come true. People call me a myth, and I say, come make war with the myth. Because I am unafraid I spent 14 years being beaten into being a good man, and there is no one that can break me or change me. God has prepared me for a better destiny. If you knew my life truly, you would know that your worst day was my best day. That your story could not match mine because I had nothing. I came from nothing. I was molded into being a man by brute force, by beating. There is no picture of me when I was a kid. There are things that happen in my life that makes me speak, give me peace, and let wisdom come into my life so I can see. I bless those who bless me. I bless those who curse me. I give till there's nothing left, because that's my heart. I am who I am. This day, this moment is what makes me go forward. Knowing that the breath of the mind is taking its time to reach the lungs and expel it into something dancing in the air, almost like butterflies flying from one end to the other's mind, that we collectively live and share each step, that our divinity creates us to be more than just human. You're more than a woman and I'm more than a man. I stand and proclaim that I am a good man. I am one who found his way and became a lighthouse for all mankind. I stand in peace. I found my faith. I found hope. I live in a place called serenity. It's where the energy of my mind is able to reach out to your heart, reach out to your mind, give you the pleasure of enjoying what I have enjoyed my whole life, changing life. It is the reason why I say who I fall in love with must always stand for those who have no voice, stand for those who have no one to help them, stand for those who seek advice, those who believe in God, those who love God, those who will listen to each and every step that you give them. Those are the ones that we are fighting for. We say unto our minds, give me peace and wisdom to see. We never shed tears without a reason. We don't shed tears. We find a way to bust through the walls of the darkest moment and sit with you and hold you and rock you back and forth until you understand that we are there for you. We were born earth angels. We were born ready to protect the word of God. Give me peace and wisdom to see.